Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.
Good morning. Welcome to Caritas News on the Go. I am Chingray Henderson and we are live here at Bangkok, Thailand for the 2022 Caritas Asia Regional Assembly and Partners Forum. Good morning. Once again, welcome back to Caritas News on the Go, and we are very privileged for quite several years already, but for now, since we started, this is the first time that a cardinal is gracing our program, and we are very happy, and Caritas Philippines is very thankful that the youngest cardinal in the whole wide world is with us right now, Cardinal Giorgio Marengo. If I am not mistaken, correct. Yes, okay, I got his name correct. His Eminence, good morning and welcome to Caritas News on the Go.
Thank you, Bobby.
Cardinal, how long have you been a cardinal since everybody's talking about you being in luck?
Well, I was cardinal in last August, at the end of August, when Francis convoked the history. So technically only a few months.
Only a few months. And you came from not a cardinal, but also you're the head of Caritas Mongolia. How is it having such big roles to fulfill?
Well, I became the president of Caritas Mongolia by default, because by being the local bishop, I also took on the responsibility of Caritas Mongolia. Before that, I was working more in the pastoral field. Being a missionary, I was assigned to a very remote area within Mongolia, and I worked there for 16 years. Then the last 2-3 years have been more in the capital city.
Mm-hmm. For a Filipino, because most of us haven't been to Mongolia, how would you describe your country?
Well, Mongolia is a fascinating country. As big as 5 times the size of Italy, to give you an idea, but with only 3.2 million people. So it's a huge country, but with big portions of it without permanent settlings. So it gives the impression of a very peaceful and wide country with great traditions, with a very historical, cultural background and religious background. And a country that is emerging from situations of poverty and is gradually but also fast taking a new position in the international scenario.
Yes, and we have heard a lot about Mongolia when COVID came. So how is COVID, how did it affect Mongolia, and of course your work in Caritas?
Oh yes, well, the COVID crisis hit Mongolia relatively late compared to other countries, but the response of the government was so strict, so strong, that we were in a long lockdown for several months, almost 1 year. So all the places of worship were closed, and all the activities as well, they were closed. So for us, it was a very challenging moment. Caritas, though, took the responsibility to work for those who were suffering the most, especially the poor, and there were several programs, especially in providing medical equipment and masks and hand sanitizers to those living in peripheries. So it was a very harsh moment, and I became a bishop also at that time. So for me it was difficult to get in touch with people because of the COVID restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You have been, there's a lot of talk about ecological advocacies in all over the world. In the Philippines, we have so many concerns at the moment. How about in Mongolia, Bishop?
Oh yes, the church in Mongolia, and especially Caritas Mongolia, is very much involved in trying new solutions to limit the bad effect of climate change in Mongolia, and especially to promote a culture of greater awareness of the consequences of our lifestyle. I would say that at large the Mongolian society is quite aware of the ecological challenge, and Caritas Mongolia is also playing an important role in this.
And we have just had the FABC conference in here also in Bangkok. How do you connect the things that happened in the things that were discussed in FABC with the concerns that you have had also in Mongolia?
Well, I was very happy to participate in this important general conference, and I found that the priorities given by FABC, they really match the reality of Mongolia in terms of church and in terms of society. And one of the main issues that was brought out was especially the ecological crisis we are going through. And I think this general conference provides us with the right tools and the right orientations for more effective work of the church in Mongolia.
And what's your message, Your Eminence, to everybody watching in terms of really strengthening our ecological advocacies, in terms also of the fraternal cooperation that the Pope has been trying to tell us that we live out?
Yeah, well, the message we got from FABC 50 was really time has come, there is no extra time, and we have to take action rapidly, and the decisions that one individual takes are affecting the rest of the community. And in this sense, I think we have now all the necessary indications for the Church and for Caritas Mongolia to act in a quick time to provide new lifestyles that will guarantee the necessary balance in terms of ecology and the whole world affected by this ecological crisis.
As the youngest cardinal and the newest addition to the big family of Pope Francis, what's your prayer in terms of the things that we are encountering, facing at the moment, and especially what's your prayer for the young?
Yes, well, I'm always inspired by Pope Francis, by the tremendous amount of energy he has. He's young in his heart, though we know he's suffering also a lot for his health. So my prayer is that the young generation of this world will take this opportunity to work for peace, for dialogue, for fighting for justice and a better world. And my prayer is also that everybody will rediscover the beauty of our faith. As Christians, we have a great responsibility because the world is looking at us, and we have to give good example in our decision making every day so that the world will become a better world.
Very much, Cardinal Giorgio Marengo, for being with us and for sharing with us your thoughts, and also for providing inspiration to us at Caritas, and then to our viewers in the Philippines. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.
Nakasama po natin His Eminence Cardinal Giorgio Marengo of Caritas Mongolia. This is Caritas News on the Go.
Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.
Pilipinas ay isa sa mga bansang nakakaranas ng iba't ibang kalamidad. Sa loob ng isang taon ay meron tayong humigit kumulang sa 20 bagyo na dumadaan sa ating bansa. Madalas ding mayroong pagguho ng lupa, malawakang baha, lindol, sunog at iba pa. Sa kasalukuyan ay mas pinalala pa ito dahil sa pandemya. Isa sa mga gawain ng Caritas Philippines ay ang pangunahan ang pagtugon ng mga pangangailangan ng naapektuhang kalamidad ng iba't ibang humanitarian crisis. Ang Caritas ay nagbibigay ayuda sa pamamagitan ng emergency relief assistance. Bukod sa emergency relief, nagbibigay rin tayo ng ayuda para sa early recovery ng mga komunidad na naapektuhan, tulad ng pagbibigay ng pabahay at kabuhayan. Kasama din dito ang iba't ibang capacity building and community organizing upang maihanda ang mga diocese at komunidad. Tayong lahat ay magkaisa, mag-alay kapwa para sa alay sa katugunan sa kalamidad.
Ang alay kapwa para sa katarungan at kapayapaan ay ang kabuuan at layunin ng Episcopal Commission on Social Action, Justice and Peace. Ang layunin ng katarungan at kapayapaan ay tanggalin ang di makatarungang istruktura sa lipunan nakikita natin sa pamagitan ng paglabag sa dangal at karapatan ng mamamayan at kalikasan na nagdudulot ng kahirapan at paghihirap ng mga tao at nagpapatuloy ng di pagkapantay-pantay sa lipunan, kapangyarihan, pamahalaan at pakitungo sa kapwa. Bilang programa, kasama sa Alay para sa Katarungan ang mabuting pamamahala o good governance, isang halagang parte para sa panlipunang katarungan or social justice. Ang diin ng programa ay upang itaguyod at ipatupad ang dignidad o dangal at karapatan ng mga tao sa pamamagitan ng pakikilahok sa pamamahala. At gusto din nito mag-ambag para sa pagbabago ng struktura, sistema na kaaya-aya o conducive para sa ikabubuti ng nakararami.
Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.
Hello once again, welcome back. This is Caritas News on the Go from Mongolia. We're going to India and we are touring the whole Asia actually because we are doing still the 2022 Caritas Asia Regional Conference. And here with us is one of the pillars of women in Asia in terms of how we do things around it in the Caritas Confederation. From Caritas India, we have Miss Babita Pinto. Hello, good morning, and welcome to our program. Welcome to the Philippines, in a way. How are you? How did you? How were you able to become like the representative of Caritas Asia of the whole region to the Caritas International's women group?
Okay, so I think it has been a long journey. From the fact that, within Caritas, we've been trying to hold a lot of portfolios. I have been working in the organization for the past 21 years. So I think that 21 years itself is something which brings a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, a lot of, the nuances of how the Caritas organization as such works. So I think that has been something which has helped me to be more assertive in terms of decision making, in terms of influencing the leadership within our church circles, specifically knowing the fact that we also used to have a desk of gender mainstreaming, but it unfortunately did not really do well due to a lot of reasons, because we tend to take this role for granted. So I think it is only through your experiences, when you go through different portfolios and see that that you are not being heard, that is when you start making those bends.
This also is this the reason also why you really need to push to be heard, to have a place in the circle?
Absolutely. Yeah. If I also talk about the fact that the Caritas Confederation, since we are so guided by framework, the Episcopal framework, which does not have much of provisions for the role of women, at least leadership roles. We do have senior managers and leads, but then we do not have someone who's kind of heading or steering the organization, and that is something we feel that there needs to be. I mean, we would really not see ourselves only in the lead position, but also kind of organization, and that is the reason why we kind of actually felt that there is a need for a culture of encounter as well as what the morning us. So yeah, the culture of encounter, wherein we talk a little bit about this whole engage women and trying to get people hear our voices, more importantly, because we bring that emotional intelligence, we bring that kind of we bring a kind of a bird's view of which sometimes people may miss, so a woman's naturally gifted that way. But again, I'm not going to kind of label women with those kind of, but these are some of the added values which really help in your kind of work doing, and especially when Caritas is faith inspired. I think this is very important for women also to be like leading this kind of a faith inspiration.
But how are you able to get into that position or into that get the confidence of I have to do this, I have to push myself, I have to make sure people will be listening to me? Because I heard a lot about Indian culture and how the evolution of women taking. How are you able to do that?
So there are two ways of looking at it. One is either you're too vocal about yourself. So you talk about things which you have been part of, and you kind of make it through the different platforms that you are engaged with. Or the other aspect would be to kind of strategically and very in a very soft maneuvering manner cut through your way, through your actions, through the kind of work that you're doing, because your work speaks a lot about what kind of wisdom that you bring on board to the table. And I think for me, this was one way which I felt had a lot of impact, because even if you want to be assertive, sometimes you might sound very artificial, because you may not be genuine. You may be wanting to have the cause, but you're not relating with that cause.
Or it is not yet the time.
Or yes, yeah, exactly. And for me, over the years, if I see myself, I have grown from where I was a very timid, a person where I would not see myself much into the larger picture. I see myself growing over the years, and I also realized the struggle I had, and I didn't want to face them again. So then you work through and see how best you could express your talents, and for the fact that all of us are blessed with talents, I think this is something which we can offer. Through our talents, we're able to is the kind of work that we're doing.
Is that evolution is like a reflection of how India as a country was able to evolve from being a very manly world, something like that, to something that respects women?
Yes. It has made its bends slowly. They say that, don't push someone to the corner that, they kind of retaliate back to you. So then I guess it's what had happened. Though, of course, we have not really made those major breakthroughs when it comes to India, because we have this whole mechanism of caste culture, and caste is so ingrained. It's like so ingrained into even the children. So it's like you're born into the world and you see this kind of a system around you and you kind of dwell into that. But I think it's only because we've had this kind of awareness. We've had people talking about it, women talking about it, men talking about it, a lot of those kind of committees with men who were more friendly, more sensitive sensitive to the issue of women. And I think this more of the talking that has happened has actually started creating those kind of little impacts and breakthroughs, which we have seen in our work culture, which we also see in our Indian culture as well.
And it is very good to also note that even like the entertainment industry of India has really evolved into something that also talks about these things. I just watched a movie, so the girl who wants to learn how to skateboard.
Okay, right.
It is really like a very creative way also of influencing the mindset of people.
And that has happened eventually again through a lot of sensitization, a lot of talking. You need to talk, you need to just express yourself. And now if you see in the Indian cinema, the highest paid actor, they don't say actor, actresses, highest paid actor is a woman.
Yes, correct. And they're like really superstars.
Exactly. So it's like even the men have been out, like, kind of outdone with.
Yeah.
So I think that is the kind of level that we have seen. We have seen a lot of women-oriented roles. But in the previous phase, it was more of, the drama, like it was like, something which is non-commercial.
Yeah.
But now we've also seen in the mainstream commercial, women-oriented kind of movies coming through. And it's kind of really picking a lot of acceptance.
Yeah, and how did like Caritas India also fits into all this?
So Caritas,
Sorry, from show business to going back to Caritas India.
It's showbiz everywhere. I guess even Caritas India has a showbiz, and we are all actors and actresses.
Yes.
So the fact is that I think some women themselves also are they have accepted and culturally accepted themselves, that okay, this is what our role is going to be. I think it also depends a lot on how much of awareness, how much of talking you're doing, even when you are non-working. Like you need not only talk about work. Even when at the times you're trying to talk about the role of women, how we can kind of improve ourselves. So this has happened, and I got definitely a lot of opportunities, lot of portfolios where I could speak about it, and because of which we've also been able to create a kind of a common voice within the organization, and we've had the opportunity to speak in different platforms wherein we also have the bishops also listening to us. But of course, one of the challenges is that because Caritas is under the purview of the Catholic Bishops Conference of India, wherein we have, the Bishops Conference is all about men, and then they have positions which is all about men. So we are not, I guess we would not say that we don't want to see that breakthrough, but definitely we would want them to consider, at least these positions of like the leadership positions of Caritas India or in the Caritas Confederation across the Asian countries where we face similar kind of situations, wherein they do consider and invite applications as well, of women of different influences, so to see that, whether it works or not. And so at least that kind of an experience needs to come on board, and that kind of awakening needs to happen. So we are still trying to get there. We have reached to that position as of now. But I think we are kind of slowly making those bends.
Yes, correct. And especially now that women has become more aggressive in really taking their place. So it's really something that's important. And even like for Caritas Philippines, is slowly but surely we have seen really a lot of changes in how even our management, it's just like even the government would have already recognize that there are certain needs of women that needed to be incorporated in the policies of the organization. So it's something that we needed to maybe continue. So moving forward, how do you think like CAS as a whole, as a confederation, would need to be taking note of the present situation, the present condition of women in the not only at the CAS in the inside the organization, but also especially in the communities. Taking forward, how do you see that the confederation must have this in the programs or in the policies or in the frameworks that we're talking?
So I think one of the things that women within the Caritas Confederation, first they need to kind of be aware and sensitize themselves to the fact that there is this kind of a disparity, that there is this kind of a situation which we need to work on. I think it should not be just considered, oh, this is someone else's business, you know, this is not my business. It's not about that. So I think that awakening is really required at the women and at the men level when it comes to the Confederation. That's one. Secondly, I think as a committee, we have a women's committee which has done a wonderful survey, and that survey has brought out very startling figures. I think that becomes a base foundation for us to now start advocating with the Bishops' Conference. But I think more than the national chapters, we need to have these kind of conversations happening at the regional Bishops' Conference. Like we have the Federation of the Asian Bishops' Conference. This is an area wherein we should have women talking about it. You know, because when women talk about this, then it starts getting into the, you know, national chapters as well. The bishops take these learnings, and, you know, and if at all there's a conversation next time, they would kind of be alert about these kind of, you know, the mechanisms that have been slowly getting into this, mainstreaming into this whole conference. So I think that is something which we feel that while we are working on the national chapters to see women's role, there is a larger role to play at the regional level and also at the internationalist level, which of course is happening. But that has to happen on a continuum basis, because many times what we do is there are interventions, but they are very sporadic. So they happen and then they after that dwindle down for a while because some other issue kind of takes a toll. And then that whole thing kind of gets sidelined. So I think that is something which we need to consistently keep that going. And in some organizations, we may have women's committee. In some organizations, we may have gender desks. In some organizations, we may not have anything. So I think we need to also see that, you know, we are all on the same page, have the same kind of an understanding, so that the impact comes in a much more larger way.
On a more personal note, it's like what is your dream for women, especially for young girls, waking up in the world that we have now? What do you want for them to have?
I think the whole context is changing right now. I mean, if you see that, you know, the risks are diversifying in such a broader way, we see a lot of happening. People are, and again, a migration in two ways, forced and, you know, the one which is like by choice. And more importantly, by choice, those who are making those kind of bends, you know, they should actually not just see it from their perspective, but try to create a legacy, you know, try to create that kind of a chain of inspiring young children, especially the youngsters. And this happens through education. I think one of the things that we also feel that Caritas should look up is from the perspective of education. We are talking of different components, but I think this gender mainstreaming and this lens from the gender lens that we need to see should be ingrained right from our education system, even into our households as well. You know, the whole family union we are talking about in our one human family, one common home. And under this particular aspect, our parishes, we need to kind of strengthen our parishes at the household level, wherein there is disparity, but we do not realize it. It's not that they're doing it deliberately, but it's just taken for granted that you know, this is the role of that, you know, very cliched kind of situation we are living in. So I think that is something we, Caritas, can definitely work in making those breakthroughs at the household level, at the parish levels, also within the education system, while of course we're working at a larger level with the bishops and also. I think it's a two-way kind of a process. You cannot just do one thing and just think that things are going to change on the ground. You have to have that kind of orientation on the ground. And more importantly, I feel is, if I feel that after all the struggles I could come at this point, I really need to see that, you know, the other one doesn't have to face that kind of a struggle. So you make your culture around you for the other women also much more feasible. Because I hold that authority in my organization, so I should ensure that the other women also enjoy that kind of a position.
An improvement of something.
Exactly. And this is something which we can offer, that is one. And of course, when you kind of create this kind of an atmosphere, you see there is a lot of buying in from different people. They start, you know, absorbing it. They can absorb that energy. And then they can also start, you know, seeing themselves doing some kind of assertiveness in terms of their talking, in terms of their positioning, in terms of expressing. So yeah, these are the things that they can think about.
Our women's champion in Caritas Asia, Ms. Babita Pinto. Thank you very much for being with us, and it's really a privilege to be able to talk about things that matter, especially for women and for young girls now that in these times. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is Caritas News on the Go.
Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.
Simula 2016, mahigit 500 social action workers na ang nabigyan ng Caritas Philippines Academy ng iba't ibang capacity development program. Katulong ang Development Academy of the Philippines at Future by Design Pilipinas. Nagawa natin ang 14-month certificate course na Lead to Heal Transformational Development Program. Sa pakikipag-partner natin sa Asian Social Institute, nagkaroon tayo ng Masteral Course on Social Services and Development. Mahigit 15 modular courses din ang naisagawa natin kahit sa gitna ng COVID-19 pandemic. At Caritas Philippines Academy, we develop church leaders and professionals with a heart.
Dahil sa mataas na antas ng kahirapan sa Pilipinas, malaki ang suliranin sa kakulangan sa sapat na pagkain at kawalan ng sustainableng hanapbuhay. Hangad ng Caritas Philippines na matulungan ang iba't ibang sektor sa agrikultura upang mapataas ang produksyon at ani at maibenta ang produkto sa tamang halaga at merkado upang mapaunlad ang bawat pamilya at komunidad. Halina at sama-sama tayong maging bahagi ng pag-aalay para sa kabuhayan ng lahat ng nangangailangan at nasa kahirapan. Sapat na pagkain para sa kalusugan ng lahat at mayamang bukas.
Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.
As we have mentioned, we are now in Bangkok, Thailand for the 2022 Caritas Asia General Assembly, and we are so lucky and honored that again, this is the second time that we will be having him via our Caritas News on the Go program, Dr. Benedict Alo, the President of Caritas Asia. Hello once again, Dr. Alo, and welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. First of all, happy anniversary for Caritas Bangladesh. You will be celebrating your 50th, right?
Thank you. Yes, on the 12th of November will be the concluding ceremony day. We started exactly 1 year ago in Chattogram district because Caritas began working there. So now the closing ceremony will be in Dhaka, capital of Bangladesh.
Dr. Alo, you've been part of Caritas Bangladesh for so long a time, and then for those periods, especially for the last 5 decades, what do you think are the major accomplishments or the key contributions of Caritas Bangladesh to the country?
Well, initially the major contribution was in the areas of disaster response. Then we moved to disaster preparedness, and then now we call disaster risk reduction. In addition, there is also climate change adaptation. So if you see the history of Caritas Bangladesh since 1967, when it was East Pakistan, every decade there was some achievement. Say we start with the disaster response, then rehabilitation, and linking relief and rehabilitation to development. And we move to empowerment of the communities. And also we were very strong on education, formal education as well as informal education, technical education, life skill education. So and now the climate change adaptation. For disaster preparedness, Caritas has built more than 250 cyclone shelters, very strong, can stand any strong kind of a cyclone. So 1,500 to 2,000 people can take shelter in each of these cyclone shelters. In the flood-prone area, Caritas Bangladesh has built hundreds of flood shelters. There is also other area of software like sensitization, community mobilization, community-based disaster preparedness, and then now we call it disaster risk reduction. So I should say that Caritas has been active in many different sectors of development, but now we are more focused on integral human development, following the call of the Holy Father and giving emphasis on the spirit of and teaching of Laudato Si as well as fraternal tutti. This encyclical has been our guiding inspiration for what we do now. So we are going to celebrate our Golden Jubilee on the 12th. Many partners from North America, all over the world will be coming there.
Yes, and we are so sorry we won't be able to come to Bangladesh, but hopefully in other occasions we will be there, Dr. Alo.
Sorry that you are not able to come this time because of this visa problem, but we look forward to your visit whenever it is possible. You are most welcome to visit us.
Yes, correct. Dr. Alo, you've been talking about fraternal cooperation, also synodal process, and all these are also being discussed or shared, debated upon at the Caritas Asia level. Do you think, how do you think we were able to integrate, especially this too, in our programs for improving the dignity of people, in ensuring that there's justice and peace, and ensuring that we have ecological conversions at the Caritas Asia level?
I should say that when we say Caritas Asia level, we start from the diocese level. That's our basis. Every diocese is an important unit for our life of Caritas Asia. So diocese level, then it comes to national level, then it comes to Caritas Asia level. From the Caritas Asia level, what do? We build capacity. we coordinate our activities for collaboration, cooperation, and also kind of a sharing of the good practices and learning from each other. Like in the forum, you see lots of sharing. From the sharing, we draw inspiration, we learn from each other, and then we go back with lots of inputs and insights. So I think more and more we are now organized and systemized because of the initiative of the Holy Father. You see the latest process, the synod process for a synodal church, where everybody is involved, and we are giving more focus on listening to everyone, listening from the periphery, so that we believe in every individual potential. Everyone has something to give and something to receive. So based on that basis, that we have something to offer and something to take from others. So we are listening, and also we are also reviewing the way we do, and also we are renewing our commitment, revitalizing our approaches, so that we can be more effective in helping or in a kind of accompaniment with the brothers and sisters who are in disadvantaged position, and who are in support, in need of our support.
Dr. Alo, with all the discussions that's been going around for the last 2 days, which of the sharing did you learn from, like a new learning has come about from the sharing? Which of those, and how do you think we can share these kinds of learnings also to all the member organizations, 25 member organizations of Caritas Asia?
I think the initiative coming from different member organization to strengthen fraternal cooperation is very good example that we are now using CIMS as a tool, so that we become better manager, better leader, and better catalyst. And also our organization will be more able to deliver the quality service to the people we are going to serve and going to show our love. So CIMS is very important tool, and we have added the fifth pillar, as we have heard here, is safeguarding, and safeguarding for the minorities as well as vulnerable adults. So this is going to be our guiding tool and principles, in addition to the other four, and those are also related to our Caritas identity, related to our good management, accountability, good governance. So this is very important area for institutional development. But we are also giving more focus on formation of our heart. We need to integrate head, heart, and hands. So that is why is more emphasis, and that is why there were inputs on kind of a becoming synodal church, and also strengthening our fraternal cooperation. So for mutual understanding and for fulfilling our kind of a agenda for integral human development.
And moving forward, we know also that there will be a global assembly of Caritas organizations in May. How do you think, what's the most challenging part of all this coming together, ensuring that we are able to really respond to the needs also of the member organizations, but more so the needs of our community? So what's most challenging about all this?
Ongoing formation of heart, ongoing skill development is very, very important. And also, I think right attitude and right kind of a skill is also important for the newcomers. We have so many now new staff, new directors, and they need to understand why we are working and how best we can work. What is the church social teachings? How we should be more effective in delivery of. So I think induction of the new staff, new director, giving proper orientation so that they will be fulfilling the church mission in a proper way, in a right way. That is one of the big challenges. And also another challenge is that, you know, the world, the changing world, understanding the reality and context. See, every year there are more and more conflict, geopolitical problem, there is climate change happening, and yes, there are kind of a adverse situation we are facing, the health issues coming one after another. So there is, today I read that in the Washington Post that there will be a triple-demic. Triple is, one is influenza, one is COVID, and there will be other new one. So we'll have to be prepared in the health sector. We need to know more, we need to develop more so that we can give adequate responses in the health sector. At the same time, we will also have to be more careful on the morality of development, ethics of development, and also we need to be careful about tolerance, religious tolerance, and through interfaith dialogue, as well as through kind of a information, right information share. So much of media influence, fake information is there. So it is important for the media to give the right information, and it is our duty to also generate right information so that people have the right information to move and act in a right way.
Yes, correct. Thank you very much, Dr. Alo. It's always a pleasure to have you in the program, and we learn new things also when we talk to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Caritas Philippines, and thank you, your initiative. And I think also every time I meet you, we also learn from each other.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
That's the good thing about fraternal cooperation in the Caritas family. Nakasama po natin Bishop, sorry. You're going to be Bishop, right?
Not this time.
Not this time. Dr. Benedict Alo, from the President of Caritas Asia. This is Caritas News on the Go.
Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.
Sa patuloy ninyong pagmamalasakit, pagbabahagi at pag-alay kapwa, may napakain tayong 1,757 individuals na nanggagaling sa 300 families from Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Ang Pamilya Program ay hindi lang po natin bubusugin ang tiyan ng ating mga tinutulungan, mga pamilya. Kung hindi, bubusugin din natin ang kanilang isip at puso. Dahil sa Pamilya Feeding Program, ang mga kapamilya na tinutulungan natin ay lumalalim ang kanilang pananampalataya, pakipag-ugnayan sa kapwa at pagmamalasakit sa lipunan. Nang dahil sa inyo, ang mga kapwa natin ay nabusog, nabigyan ng pag-asa at may maliwanag na bukas. Through Pamilya Programs, stomachs are fed, hearts are full, souls are nourished. Taos-puso kaming nagpapasalamat sa lahat ng mga kapamilya natin na nagmalasakit, nagbahagi at nag-alay kapwa.
Pangarap ko po ang maging sundalo paglaki ko para matulungan ko po ang mga pamilya ko.
Isa lamang si John Mark sa 502 na batang academically challenged na natutulungan natin sa Alay sa Kabataan Educational Assistance Program ng Caritas Philippines.
Liban sa suporta sa kanilang tuition fees, binibigyan din natin ang ating scholars ng allowance para sa school supplies, wifi load at pamasahe.
Ngunit bakit nga ba kakaiba at natatangi ang ating Alay sa Kabataan program?
Itong programa ng Caritas Philippines ay napakaganda dahil nga tinutulungan yung mga slow learners natin dahil karamihan yung mga pribileyo ay naibibigay sa mga matatalino, sa mga magagaling at sa mga bright students natin.
Ang ganda kasi kadalasan yung pag marinig natin scholar 85 pataas yung grade. Pero dito sa program na Caritas Philippines, yung 80 below.
Pangarap nating makapagtapos ang bawat batang Pilipino, kaya't ipagpatuloy natin ang ating pagmamalasakit, pagbabahagi at pag-aalay kapwa.
Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.
Magandang umaga po muli na makakasama natin ngayon ang Executive Director ng Caritas Philippines, Father Antonio Labiao. Good morning, Father. Welcome po.
Good morning, Jing. Salamat na nandito uli ako.
Siyempre, saan ka po mapupunta? Pads, ang daming ngayon nangyayari sa ating bansa, especially in terms of our ecology advocacies. Nung nakaraan, kagagaling lang natin sa Diocese of Marbella at nakita natin kung ano yung distraction na sinisimulan ngayon ng San Miguel Corporation through their coal operation na bago dyan sa may Lake Cebu, which would be affecting not only the immediate water tributaries, kundi pati po yung kabuuan ng watershed hanggang sa Legwasan Mars. So, sa ating panawagan, matagal na even ng CBCP para sa nananawagan tayo lalong-lalo na po sa gobyerno for yung mas maayos na pagtingin at pag-enforce ng ating mga batas. May kinakailangan ba tayong gawin na mas malaki para po in a sense pakinggan tayo ng gobyerno?
Salamat, Jing, na nabanggit yan muli, no, na yung coal mining na yan. No? Di ba katatapos lang ng itong si Typhoon Paing at hindi ito malakas ang hangin pero talagang ang tama ay mga landslides, baha, no? At maraming casualties. Ito ay indikasyon na malala na ang sitwasyon ng ating kabundukan. And the only factor, no, reason for this ay ito, wala na yung mga mining na yan, di ba? It's again another consideration that we have to address as a people, no, as Filipinos, no? Kasi palagi tayo nagreklamo ng tumitindi ang baha, tumitindi ang bagyo, tumitindi ang landslides. But we keep on supporting, pinababayaan natin ang malawakan na pagmimina ng ating mga kabundukan. So, sa akin, ang panawagan natin sa gobyerno, if we are serious about climate change, can we look at what we are doing, no, in terms of addressing the problem of mining, logging, no, and other extractive and destructive programs that we are doing in the country.
Father, kaakibat din ito po, we will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of Typhoon Yolanda. Ngayon, we are only on the 9th year. Pero, doon sa mga ginagawa natin, may mga bago ba, Father, from Typhoon Yolanda, from the learnings that we've had? Tapos sa ngayon, like for example, in terms of how we do also livelihoods and food security, even our humanitarian response, yung ating mga advocacies, how do we integrate all the learnings that we've had 9 years ago, papunta dito sa kung ano yung moving forward natin, ways forward natin sa Caritas Philippines?
Jing, tama yan, no? Since Yolanda, if we look back, marami naman tayo nagawa, no? At least in the area of awareness, no? Ng ating concern for the environment, na kailangan tayong gumalaw, kailangan tayong maghanap ng pamamaraan how to protect our environment. That's one. And then pangalawa, we are able to organize our communities, no, again, to do something, no, for to have a meaningful interventions, no. So marami na tayong sa mga ecological programs, no, na pinamumunuan ninyo, na halimbawa we need to promote sustainable agriculture. We need to plant bamboos or trees, no, and we need to talk to our partners, no, to be careful in dealing with companies who are pursuing destructive and extractive minings and industries, no, or anything that destroys our environment. At ito ay mga magandang nagiging efforts na ang ating resolution to engage in renewable energy, dahan-dahan. I think these are improvements already, but we need more, no, to reverse the impact of the climate crisis.
Yeah. Lalo-lalo na ngayon po na with COP27 na ginagawanap ngayon sa Egypt, parang isa talaga sa mga panawagan natin is to really divert all our attentions to renewable energy dahil kung magpapatuloy tayo doon sa extractive at saka dirty energy ay talagang hindi magkakataon for the reversal nung possible climate emergency or climate impacts na kinakaharap na nga natin. Father, we are here in Bangkok for the Caritas Asia Regional Assembly naman po and for different other reasons, Caritas Philippines is also doing a lot for Caritas Asia, especially with your leadership. Ano-ano po ang mga ito and how do we also bring whatever we have at Caritas Philippines to contribute sa mga ginagawa natin at the regional level?
You know, our region in Asia is very diverse, no? In the area of culture, in the area of church programs, as our response to the different situations ng 25 countries, no, na kasama dito sa network natin in Asia. Again, no, listening to all the reports of the 4 sub-regions, uh, we have this problem of climate change, no? Environment. And common for us is every year we have disasters, no? And getting stronger and wider. So we need to make a response, no? To those disasters. So again, our advocacy on ecology, no? It is urgent, no? COP27 is saying if we don't do something now, it's suicidal for us, no? Not to make any real response to the crisis. That's also very important concern in Asia, no? That we have to deal with. Second, the whole idea of the effect of COVID that worsens the poverty of our people, and also made us really weak and disturbed in our responses, and we need to respond to the area of poverty, food security, health. All these things are very important. And third is more of how we can help each other to become stronger as a network in the parish, the diocesan, and the regional level in our response. Call it localization program. And the Philippines has a lot to contribute here because of our Caritas Academy. And many are interested already about, the academy providing capacity strengthening, no, in our national Caritases. Others, we have this safeguarding concern, no. This is also one of the Caritas International Management standards that we need to put in place in all our Caritases. So these are the concerns that we are talking about, the participation of the women and the young people in our church. And of course, the new thing this time is synodality, how we can journey to address challenges and different needs of our times.
So, are you saying, Father, na in the coming days or months, we will be seeing a lot of Caritas Philippines inputs in all the things that we do at the Caritas Confederation level?
Yes, I realize that many are already inviting us to provide them some training or in different levels, in their disaster response, in their capacity strengthening, in terms of managing their Caritas programs, no? And this is what we can share to them, no, in the region, no? The richness of our experience in our annual responses to different issues. It's a part of our journeying together. We share our best practices to them.
And looking forward, Father, for next year, especially at Caritas Philippines, paano din natin ito pong ipapasok dun sa mga programa natin institutionally?
Well, part of the effort that we are doing also in Caritas Philippines is to anchor our programming, no, to the strategic plan of the Caritas Asia, which is also anchored on the strategic framework of Caritas International. So we have our own concerns, we have our own challenges, but at least, our programming will always be in collaboration or in coordination, in partnership with Caritas Asia. So that's a very, very important component in 2023 planning for Caritas Philippines.
And Father, may mga nagtatanong sa atin. Ang dami-dami nating ginagawa, and it seems that we are really making a dent into everything that we do also. Pero how are we managing to implement all these things? Saan natin kinukuha ang resources natin to implement?
Yes.
Pwede ba natin sabihin?
That's true.
Meron ba tayo pinagkukunan?
Well, in terms of resources, there are many resources available. Human resources we have limited, but because of our approach building local centers, social action centers. That's part of our localization program. Our accompaniment team under the academy is doing a lot in terms of on this area. So we develop our human resources, especially in the local dioceses. That's one. But in the national, we cannot. We have a small staff. The way I see it. And then second, financial. The financial is now we have just started our resource mobilization. But I'm happy that many of our people, ordinary people, are contributing the little that they have, but they do it regularly. That survives, that helps so our program survive, and that's also what's happening in all the churches. The poor, the ordinary people giving regularly small amounts. But that sustained the church programs, and that's also true in Caritas. And I will thank all our offerors, regular contributors, donation to the Kapamilya Masses, to the Alay Kapwa campaign, in our solidarity appeals during disasters. These people are our resource, and we are happy that they are there. So hopefully, with our national office on resource mobilization, we can develop more these resources that will really help us. We rely on them for our programs. Of course, big disasters, we also seek the help of our international partners. All these are initiatives, and we want everybody to get involved, and I'm sure we can face all our programs.
Yes, correct. Somebody is trying to distract us from behind the camera. Pero Father, totoo yung sinabi mo because as of October, 59% po of all the funds that we have received are coming from locally sourced funds, and that's a lot from an organization who's been fully dependent on international aid. Napakalaki pong bagay na 59% na ngayon ng ating buong pondo ay nanggagaling na sa ating mga kababayan mismo. So, and we are really thankful that we are able to do this with you and for our communities also na mas nangangailangan. Father Tony, maraming salamat po again for being with us in the program.
Thank you, Jing, for the opportunity. Hope and continue good work that we are doing for the Caritas Philippines.
Nakasama po natin Father Tony Labiao, ang Executive Director ng Caritas Philippines. Ito po ang Caritas News on the Go. Thank you very much for watching. You can follow us over Spotify, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. This is Caritas News on the Go, and I'm Jing Ray.
Caritas News on the Go, the Social Action Network's news and public affairs online show featuring national newsmakers and our team Caritas from the 85 social action centers nationwide. Live at Caritas Philippines social media channels, Fridays 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Caritas News on the Go.